Lucy Curran with Loving Life with Lucy Curran. We got Rich the Realtor. And then we got Michelle Haas, the Haas Hunter.
Yay.
How is everybody doing today?
Excellent.
Wonderful. So today we're going to be doing part 2 of how to pass a real estate exam. And it's going to be on tips to help you mentally prepare for your exam. So 1, develop a positive mindset. Believe in your abilities and approach the exam with a positive mindset. Visualize yourself performing well on the exam and achieving your desired outcome. Replace negative thoughts and self-doubt with positive affirmations and confidence. Talk to yourself in the mirror after you get out of the shower and say, you are the mom. You are gonna pass this test. And if you don't, it's okay. You can take it again. Set a realistic expectation. Okay. Understand that exams can be challenging. Avoid putting unnecessary pressure on yourself to be perfect. Expecting things can be very discouraging if they don't come. The outcome isn't like what you expected. Okay. So focus on doing your best. Strive for improvement rather than aiming for perfection.
Another great thing to think about is self-care. You hear self-care all over the internet, all over YouTube, self-care, right? But what does it mean? So for this particular case, I think it means getting a good night's sleep the night before. It means waking up early. Maybe it's good for you to go for a good walk, have a good breakfast, drink some water. Maybe you need some soft music to kind of keep yourself calm. Maybe you need to play AC/DC all the way up, all the way there, whatever helps you, right? Emotionally. What do you need?
Don't take a shot. Don't take a shot before you go in, okay? If you have anxiety, that won't work.
Agreed. Liquor's not your friend. But, maybe you need to shake off those jitters one way or the other, whether it's something calming, maybe it's a phone call. You call that special person in your life and you say, hey, I'm about to walk in to take this test. And you know that person is going to say, you got this. And you know you got this, right? So take care of yourself that day. Maybe your test is after lunch. Don't have some kind of meal that's going to bog you down, make you drowsy. A burger and fries is probably not the way to go.
Not your friend.
Not your friend. If it's in the morning, have a healthy breakfast the best you can and do something you're used to. If you normally have 1 cup of coffee in the morning, don't think I'm going to go to Starbucks and I'm going to get a quadruple shot of espresso, blah, 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 right? Like, don't do something you don't normally do. That for me, that I did this once and it gave me a stomach ache and then I was in pain and I wasn't miserable, right? But keep it calm.
You want to be at your best when you're sitting down to take the exam. Right? So just keep everything pretty normal and eat a healthy meal.
Yeah. You're going to sit there for 3 hours. So don't drink too much coffee, right? Don't drink too much water. Yes, you can get up, but that's kind of mess with your stride a little bit.
Yeah, it might bite into your time management.
Right? You're going to do that. So practice self-care. Take care of yourself that morning. Take care of yourself that day. Talk to a good friend. Manage your stress. Talk to that person who's going to be good to you and encourage you. And you know what, too? I'm going to add, have a game plan to celebrate. And maybe it's that special person in your life, whoever it is, and you say, when I pass this test, we're going out for dinner. So, have a plan. Make it a good thing. Yes, it's hard, but you can do it.
Absolutely. So the next thing is, as you're diving into studying and prepping, make sure that you develop a plan for all the content all the way through, right? Break it down into sections. Allow yourself a certain amount of time each day. In fact, you may even want to, before you do that, you may even want to look at the calendar before you schedule your exam. How far out, how much time do you need to prep for the exam? Everybody's going to be a little different based on their schedule. if you're, if you have kids and you have a job and you're doing all these other things, make sure that you allow plenty of time for prep, right? So if you think you need a month or 6 weeks, make sure you allow that much time. Then break everything down so that you've allowed enough time to be able to go through all the material, all the sections of the different material to prep for the exam, and then allow time for review, because you're not just going to go through it once. You're going to be drilling down over and over and over again on this material. So you want to have a good, solid plan, create a realistic schedule that you know you can meet, and then think about why you're doing this, and then stick to your plan, right? So you're only going to be as successful as you are in how well you plan out when you're going to be able to do what needs to be done to prep for it. So if you like to really cram it all in a short period of time and you have the ability to do that without interruption, I mean, still you're going to need a couple, 3 weeks, because you're going to want to go back through and review it again and again and again. The spaced repetition is your friend. So make sure that you allocate dedicated study time for this material, and then practice time management. I mean, probably we didn't mention it earlier, but I mean, before you take the exam, it's probably good to use the restroom before the exam. Even though you can take a break and use it during the exam, you probably don't want to do that. You're in the flow when you're taking the exam. So use the restroom ahead of time. But you want to familiarize yourself with the time limits of the exam. Depending on what state you're in, there may be a different time limit. In our state, we got 3 hours for the exam. So make sure that you're aware of how much time you have for the exam.
Idaho is 4 hours.
What's that?
Idaho is 4 hours.
Well, Idaho is 4 hours. Yeah. So you want to practice time management during the exam. And here's something that's really important. Each question in the exam is going to be worth the same amount of points. So when you come to questions that have big word questions in the beginning, you can skip the big word questions to the end. There's not going to be a lot of those. But if you see questions that are like 4, 5, 6 lines to read it, a math question or something, skip that. You can always go back to the end, right? So you're going to spend a lot of time on that big word question, reading it over and over again to make sure that you understand the question, then solving it, especially if it's a math problem. You may want to leave the big word questions to the end. If there's 6 or 7 of them, if you have to get to the end and you run out of time, you'd rather skip those big word questions. Are going to take up a lot of time. Go through and answer all the easy questions, right? And then go back and work on the really long ones at the very end. That way, at the very end, worst case, you're guessing on 3 or 4 and you're done, right? But the ones that you don't want to run out of time and not answer the ones that you 100% knew the answers to, but you didn't have time to get to it. So don't get bogged down on these big, long word problems. Not that there's going to be a lot. Sometimes there's maybe 5 or 6 or 7. And sometimes I've heard there's just 2 or 3. So just manage your time well in that capacity. If you're hung up on a question, skip it. Move on to the stuff that you know, and then come back to it. You'll have time. And then another thing that I'm really big on, this is important. Once you're all done with the exam, do not go back and second guess your answers, okay? Now, if you're reading through the questions and a question gives you the answer to another question, you got that question wrong, in that case, go back and change it. But do not go back when you're all done and reread questions and negotiate with yourself over the answer. It's a proven statistical fact that most people will talk themselves out of the right answer and change it to the wrong answer. So just leave it lie. Just let that go. And another thing that's super important on time management, we talk about prepping and planning ahead. Once you get to the night before the exam, at some point in here, you're going to say enough is enough. Yeah. Now you've got to cut away from the material. Now you can study up until 10 o'clock at night, but it's not in your best interest to pull an all-nighter and study until 7 in the morning and then race down to the exam that starts at 9. You're going to be exhausted. You didn't eat well, and your brain's on overload. So you're not going to be at your best. It is at some point better for you to walk away from the studying at, say, 10 at night. And now you're going to let it go. And you've gone over it and over it and over it. You're ready. Get a good rest so that your mind can serve you well when you're reading the questions, read all the answers, and then choose the best answer. And a lot of it's process of elimination when you're going through the questions. There's usually two you can eliminate right off the bat, and then you're kind of sorting it out between the last two.
Multiple
But
choice.
yeah, but time management is super important. So just make sure you're aware of anything that might be bogging you down during the exam.
Absolutely, absolutely. And thank you for those tips, Michelle and Rich. Very important. And just to end with this is pretty much recapping on what Rich was just mentioning is, practice relaxation techniques. Okay. When you are, quit the studying early in the evening, the day before the exam. Okay. Prior to the exam, practice relaxation techniques like deep breathing, progressive muscle like I get tense in my neck area, and I massage my neck out a little bit just to release some tension, right? Visualize that, and keeping yourself calm, and just and your focus on going into the testing knowing that, hey, everything's going to be all right, like what you said, Michelle. Okay. And everything will be all right. So just go in there, drop everything. Don't try to scramble in your car with paper, like, oh my God. Okay. Because I've done that before.
Yep.
And it doesn't get anywhere, right? Because it just builds up more anxiety. All right. So you've already studied enough. Go in there and just, again, speak positive to yourself and know that you're going to go in and you're going to just nail it. All right. And you'll do just fine. So,
yeah.
All right.
There's
Awesome.
something about when you talk to yourself in the right way. There's something about when you say, I got this.
That's
it's gonna be fine. I'm gonna, if I pass or fail, I'm gonna be fine. Nothing is gonna fall apart if this doesn't go well. But you know what? I studied. I'm ready. Having that mindset is going to do wonders for you, not only in the test, but in transactions to come and in other classes to come and in other experiences to come. Having that mindset of, I'm going to be okay. I am okay. And this is going to be fine. So don't forget to take that with you no matter where you are. And through the studying process, even in the exam itself, if you have to get up and take a break, do it. Have some compassion on yourself and have some mercy on yourself. There's no way that all day Sunday, from the time you wake up till the time you go to bed, you're going to study. I mean, oh, that's just going to be hard on you. Be merciful, right? You wouldn't tell a friend to do it, so don't do it. You would tell a friend to pace yourself and let's study together and plan ahead and all those things, right? All these tips that we've been talking about through this video, and be compassionate on yourself. Keep that positive attitude with you. Keep positive people in your life. If you have somebody who's a little negative sometimes, maybe you kind of have to put them on pause and call them after the test.
Kick them to the curb.
That's
right? Say, hey, by the way, you didn't think I'd make it, but I just passed this sucker. So, be compassionate to yourself. Maybe you have hard days with these exams, and that's okay. It will get better. You'll learn it. You'll get through it. And you'll be on to the next thing. So, so it gets better. It gets better. We hope you guys have really enjoyed these tips, that they are valuable to you, and that they help you through your exam. And stay with this channel. Watch us for other videos. We're going to help you through your career, give you more tips and tricks that you'll love. Hit like on this video, subscribe, share it with somebody who might use it, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Bye, guys.
See you later.
Yeah.
See you on the next video.